Hello, and welcome to a very special edition of the Game Theory Podcast. I was just sipping my coffee whenever it started, so it made me feel like I needed to say something like morning show style.
Troy and Abbott in the morning.
Wake up, Game Theorists. We've got some news for you today. David, tell
Hi.
us what our episode's going to be about.
Well, we have a animal trainer who's going to show us that chimpanzees don't just throw their feces.
That's zany. I'm sure he's excited to be here at 4 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, dude, what's up? What's up?
No, long time no see. How you doing?
Pretty good. I can't complain. Crazy tired, but for some reason, the last couple nights I've slept like a rock. Like I woke up and I had like drooled all down my mattress. I'm not like a drooling kind of guy, but if I'm like exhausted, I do. So
Sounds nice.
yeah, in my long tradition of saying like things that are pretty weird about myself in the beginning of an episode, I just figured I'd disclose that.
Some of our listeners have taken to making a drinking game out of every time you say something that sounds like a sociopath.
Or every time I say something like, just you don't need to know it. It's like the one where I was like, hey, David, do you know what a staph infection is? I think I got one on my leg. Went on to describe it. Turns out it was fine, actually, by the way. It wasn't MRSA.
That's good. It's good to know because we don't have free healthcare. That would have been a rough spot for you.
It would have been costly, to say the least.
So we're coming back at you after a little hiatus. We had 2 weeks ago? You were sick.
Yeah, I caught this crap. So my oldest son got it, then my youngest son got it, and I was like, I never get sick when things go around the house. And then I got sick. I don't know. It was just like a stomach bug, and it just was not cool. And then I felt just ugh. But yeah, some kind of like stomach flu thing. But no big deal. But then last week we went to Houston. It was like a little mini family reunion. We did like a third Christmas for some reason.
Hey, 3 Christmases are better than 2, which is what most people get.
The kids were losing their mind, man. And we had a great time, dude. We did it like a zombie game where they all got Nerf guns, and we were zombies, and we had to freeze when they shot us for 10 seconds. But then we could, go again, assuming because you couldn't shoot the head, or they couldn't. And so, just like real zombies, they fall, but they're gonna get back up. So we chased them around. It was really fun. But yeah, we did more than that. It was more than just a zombie Christmas.
Nice.
That's the most notable parts.
Zombie Christmas.
Yeah.
Really the reason for the season.
Oh, man. And it's that time of year where everything's cranking up. So, like, long-time listeners will remember this from the old thesis days, but just all the deadlines hit. And so I've spent a good deal of my time just self-loathing and sitting on the computer, typing away at things and reading things just to the smallest minutia. It's like, yes, when people look for healthcare providers, sure, they look for different aspects in a patient or in a physician, and surely what kind of characteristics about that patient affect that selection bias. But is there an interaction? Let me read about 12 pages on that. It's just the minutia is what gets you. The broad points are always cool.
Yeah, that's the fun part of academics.
Yeah, exactly. That's why not every internet warrior gets the same voices as people who have actually studied this crap. Ugh, I've had such a bad time recently with internet keyboard warriors.
There's a lot of people who are wrong on the internet lately.
I know. People are like, dude, science. Like, I saw some guy who posted a science thing right before. He's like, guys, science. When science says something, you listen. And then the next one, he was like, hey, this is what I think about stuff. And I was like, oh, actually, we've actually studied that. Here's the thing. And he's like, there's only like 2 or people on this paper, which is weird. Why wouldn't other people sign up? Because they didn't want to be part of it. And I'm like, there's a lot of speculation there, and all that's probably false. But anyway, that's not what this is about. This is about a gaming podcast, David.
Yes, and we have both been doing a lot of gaming in the past 3 weeks.
For shiz. That's how the cool kids say for sure. At least 10 years ago.
And there has been some news as well, although for my part, not that much that caught my eye.
Yeah, they did kind of blow their news wad late last year and early in this year.
Yeah, which happens.
Yeah, but we can definitely discuss it. Do you want to move into it here?
Yes, let's go for it.
New section. All right, this is the news section of the podcast where we talk about exactly that, the news. So, bunch of little stuff out, but a lot of it's prospective for the year. Still interesting, though. Still interesting. Some reflective.
Yes.
So anything big?
Well, for those of you who are into the writing part of the video game industry, they have Writers Guild of America has a category for best written video game so the Writers Guild of America, they give out awards every year for best written novel, best written screenplay, etc. And they have a category for video games. And the best written video game of 2015, the nominees included Pillars of Eternity, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, The Witcher 3: The Wild Hunt, and Rise of the Tomb Raider.
Oh, you played a few of those games.
I have. And actually, the reward went to Rise of the Tomb Raider, which was pretty exciting for me because I just finished playing that.
I'll bet it's because most of the reviewers never finished Pillars of Eternity.
Yeah, that's probably part of it.
What the hell, man?
Or Witcher 3: Wild Hunt.
Yeah, I haven't finished that either. Fuck, there's so many games.
Yeah, well, people on Facebook will know that my 70-hour Witcher 3 file was lost when my computer died, so that might be one I never finished because I don't know if I have the heart to go back through it again.
Do you mean the Gwent Simulator?
Yeah, Gwent Simulator 3000. But I don't know. As far as story goes for Witcher 3, it really felt like a kind of repetitive. It was a lot of like showing up to a village or a tavern or a palace and saying, "Where's my friend? She's got silver hair." And like, "Oh, you just missed her." And I'm like, "Oh, play Gwent then. Play Gwent with me." In that case, over and over, it just felt like a repeating series of like, "You just got here just too late, and she's moved on."
It was really bad, but I'm assuming the nomination because of that was about the side quests because the side quests
were very well written.
I have not yet heard a person who's played that game who's not like been pretty excited about the side quests.
That's probably why they got nominated, but also probably why they didn't win.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But Pillars of Eternity, I don't know. I keep hearing that same thing. I just can't get through it. I just can't. That old school like Baldur's Gate. Like Baldur's Gate has great nostalgia because it was fun and cool for its time. But if you think about it now, where you like pause and you click and click.
Yeah, I don't.
It's just this.
I don't have the patience for that kind of gaming. Even when Baldur's Gate came out, I didn't have the patience for it. I blew my magic with missile wad in the first, and that's not a euphemism. I was a mage, so
yeah,
I blew my magic missile wad in the first like 2 seconds of combat because it was cool. Like the special effects were like wing, 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 and these little missiles would shoot out. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like, now what? It's like you're out of spells, buddy. This is second edition D&D. You got nothing to do for the next.
Crossbow, yeah,
yeah. Use your staff,
or use a quarterstaff. You've got 4 hit points and no AC,
and your strength is 8. Good luck.
Yeah, it's just like miss. Oh, they're hitting though. But yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing here with like Pillars of Eternity. It was so much text. Like I thought I liked games with a lot of reading. I don't mind. I really usually don't. Like look at Life is Strange. It's almost entirely reading. I read it and I like it. I don't mind. There's what else? There's JRPGs. I play those and I like it. But there's a point where I'm talking like 4 paragraphs of text and you read the whole thing and you go, okay, click. 4 more paragraphs of text, talking to the same person, and you're like, oh, okay. And you just read through those, and it's like 4 more paragraphs. It's like reading Wheel of Time after a while. You're like, okay, we're done here. You're just writing to write at this point.
You're just filling pages.
Yeah, you have no respect for my time. So I just couldn't get through it. It was too much.
Yeah, and I there might be something to the whole our attention spans are shorter now that we're in a more digital age. Like when I was a kid, yeah, I'd sit down and read a novel of a video game, but now like even Life is Strange, there's a lot of reading, but it's mostly being read to you. You don't have to read it if you don't want to.
That's true. I guess I just mean conversations.
But they're being read to you. I think that's the big difference is having voice actors makes you feel more immersed and engaged instead of just reading blocks of text to yourself.
Yeah, I could see that, but I also think that there are some games that have too much cutscene, and they just talk and after a while you're like, this is just you're just more in love with your world than I am. Like that, you need to sell this world. It's like the salesman that comes to your house, and then they're like, "Hey, do you want this new squirt bottle stuff?" And I'm like, "I don't know what's in it." And they go, "Oh, clean stuff." And I'm like, "Well, I got stuff that cleans stuff for $1.99 over here, or I could buy your stuff that cleans stuff for $49.99. I think I'm gonna go in the $1.99." They're like, "No, check it out." And they're like, "See, it takes out stains." I'm like, "So does mine." And then they're like, "Oh, well, let me tell you everything about every chemical inside of it." And they start talking, and after a while, you're like, "You didn't sell me on the issue. I'm not invested in this."
Right.
So they just lose you. I think it's a sales problem or a a design problem or a writing problem more than it is a attention span problem. Maybe I think there's that too, you know. But for
Yeah.
me personally, I just don't. I'm not bought into the world yet. You can't give me 40 paragraphs to read in the first town when I don't give a fuck about your world yet. I don't know anything about it.
Right.
It's just weird.
It's I can see why it'd be up for nomination because there's clearly a lot of writing happening, but yeah, is it that engaging? Apparently not, because Tomb Raider beat it.
Yeah, it's like I mean, look at George R. R. Martin. I've read all of his books, the Song of Ice and Fire series from Game of Thrones, and Game of Thrones is one of them. And then read all of those, no problem. I consumed it fast. I love that shit because it's engaging. If he wrote a 600-page prologue before he got into his story, I wouldn't read that. Like I would have been like, what is this?
No, his prologue just threw you in the middle of the world. And it's like, this is a weird place. You're north of the wall. What's happening? Crazy.
Yeah. Exactly. Like he knows how to sell his story, and people will read as much as they need to read if they are engaged.
Right.
So, I don't know. I think that's I don't know about more of the problem, but a big chunk of the problem. But who knows? Anyway, writing, good. Glad they got a good chunk of it, or they got the award.
Yeah, it's fun to see video games given a category with the ceremony, just kind of showing them being taken more seriously as an art form again.
Yeah. Cool. Well, an item that I got is first of all, there's some prospective stuff coming in 2016. Zelda, notwithstanding, which is awesome.
Yep.
I'm excited about that. Yeah, but Nintendo's going to do that NX thing, which we've talked about a couple of times, which I think is exciting. But have you been following the Cyberpunk 2077 thing?
No.
Okay, so The Witcher 3, right, who was up for this category.
Oh, yeah.
Writing.
We had a news article about that a little while ago, how they're doing a Cyberpunk game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and this was announced in 2012, I think late 2012. So this is like 4 years coming. It's like, what are you guys still working on? But it was that one. Have you seen the trailer for it? It's like a girl who, it's a lot of bullet time, and then it doesn't matter. It's a CD Red project or Project Red world. So people are pretty excited about it. But they're supposed to release gameplay footage. They're not supposed to release it this year, I don't believe, but they're going to release gameplay footage of what the game actually looks like. Because all we've seen so far is the trailer, and that thing got like how many million hits? A ton. I couldn't say for sure, but every time I look at it, I'm like, geez, people are watching the shit out of this thing. But I'm really curious about that because CD Projekt Red, as far as I know, their only huge project was The Witcher, which, slowly climbed in like cult classic. Not even cult classic, now it's popular classic.
Yeah, it was game of the year for a lot of people. But they also didn't make much money off of it, so it's like one of the most pirated companies in the world.
It sucks.
Better software security, I guess.
There's a lot of people who are like, oh man, there's a bunch of price gouging, capitalists. But these guys are from Sweden. That's what Sweden. Let me double check. But
yeah, I think you're right, Sweden.
Yeah, I mean these guys aren't from like it's a democratic socialism. They're not like they're out to make sure every man gets his own piece and everybody's happy. But
yeah, and they're out to make some money. But I don't know why people were like, $50-$60. First of all, you can buy it on sale pretty easily. Second of all, you're gonna play that game for 100 hours at least. Just if you're looking at dollar to hour, it's a very efficient use of your money.
Yeah, I think one of the conversations that you and I have had, and I think this was your idea. I never remember anymore. Your idea, my idea. But I think this was your idea. Was you said, we're trading dollar for hours of entertainment. Like when you watch a movie, it's let's be honest. Now it's like $12, but before it was like $7. If you just buy the ticket on a matinee, it's like $7 or $8. And that's 8 hours for 2 hours, or $8 for like 2 hours of your time, $4 an hour, and we consider that good.
Yeah,
but then
it's
you
a
play
good return on investment.
Yeah, you get a 100-hour game and you're like $60. I don't know, but you should be paying $200 for that if it's the same conversion rate.
Yeah, you're paying like $1.60 something an hour for your entertainment. It's pretty good. Yeah. And that's if you buy at full price, which again, don't really have to with games. They go on sale. So if you don't want to pay $60, like I haven't bought XCOM 2 yet, it will go on sale and then I will buy it. So just wait till it's at the price point that you like. Don't steal it.
I think the problem with games in general, and Blizzard figured this out, but and a lot of people have, is that it's that initial buy-in. There's like an old idea of that's kind of going the way of the dodo. That's like, hey, let me sell you this thing. I'm going to preach it up and talk it up and talk it up and talk it up, and now pay this amount of money, and then you're stuck with it. And that idea has burned a lot of people in the past, I think.
Mhm.
And so now people are thinking like, well, why can't I just invest in it as I go along? And so you get things like World of Warcraft. I'll play it and I'll pay for it as long as I like it. But when I
Yeah, or
stop liking it,
microtransactions.
I'm gonna stop. Yeah. And so and that's done really well because people don't. You're making an active decision every interval that yeah, I'll do this some more, or every ratio, like you play it some and you're like, oh, I want to play this a little bit more. I wanted this different content. So I think that just works better for people in general. Whereas like a huge game before, like the whole idea of a huge game used to like sell itself, but now it's like, eh. So I wish they'd. I wish there was a novel way to approach that, and I know there is. They just haven't succeeded yet with it, I guess.
Yeah, I actually prefer usually with those monthly subscription models if they have an option for just pay $100 and own the game forever. I always go for that because I like to just with the monthly thing, it kind of reverses on me, and I feel like I'm obligated to play it every month.
Mm-hmm.
Like with World of Warcraft, it's like if I'm not playing it, then it's like I'm basically throwing money out the window because I paid $15 and it's only for this month. So every day in this month that I'm not playing that game almost exclusively,
Mm-hmm.
I'm throwing money out the window. But if I could have just bought World of Warcraft for $60, then I would have not felt so much pressure to play it, which is probably a design choice on their part.
Yeah, it's like the gym effect where you're like, well, you're paying like
Yeah,
$25 for that gym. You might as well get in there and use the machines. I hate machines. Okay. Anyway, so Cyberpunk. Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at it. Are you considering buying this at all?
Yeah, probably eventually. I'm
Okay.
not I'm into the dark fantasy setting of Witcher 3 more than I am in the kind of cyberpunk Shadowrun setting, so it's not as appealing to me as it is for you. You're like a huge fan of cyberpunk, and I'm just sort of like, yeah, that's kind of cool, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's fun. I like Cyberpunk. It's a good time. But other news items. Do you have anything else?
Yeah, no, there's this game called The Division that's out, but I haven't really checked it out yet, so I don't have much to say about it. But they've announced they've announced 3 waves of DLC for Fallout 4 for anyone that's still playing that. I don't know, it feels like that game was a flash in the pan and now no one's really talking about it anymore. But apparently Fallout 4 is still a thing, and there's DLC out for it soon.
I never finished it. I got to this big kind of I can't spoil it, but I got to a big point where I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh wait, there's more.
Yeah, that's what happened to me with Fallout 3. I never finished it. I got about halfway through, and I was like, oh, okay, there's Liam Neeson. That thing's resolved, and we're done.
Yeah, with this, I just the whole. I mean, this isn't a surprise from literally the first mission, one of the first missions. If you met Nick Valentine, then you know this is a thing. Is the idea that synths, right? Synthesize. I don't know what it's short for. Synthetical humans.
Synthetics, probably.
Yeah. They're like androids basically, and that's like the whole storyline here. And so I just
basically BioShock
or even Star Trek: The Next Generation, Data,
or Mass Effect 3.
Mass Effect. Yeah, everybody's done this to death by now. I'm like, Bethesda, I think you need better writers. Your people suck. Your programmers and your open world is cool, but damn, your stories are lame. So
yeah,
they're all like, is it a human or is it not? And I'm like, oh, I don't know, man. When I watched The Iron Giant when I was fucking 6, I made that decision, but I'll do it again.
I guess I'll go through that again.
It's not entertaining to me. But there's some cool things they do with it, but they're always side quests. It's never like there's one where you come up and there's 2 humans and they look similar to each other and they're both saying each other's the synth. It's the typical, shapeshifter thing in other genres.
No, shoot him.
But it's not even satisfying because then I'm like, so I made my decision, and then it just like, thanks, man, and they walked off, and I was like, what the fuck, really? I don't get to find out, and so I saved it, and I slaughtered the other guy, and then one of them had a synth piece on him, and I was like, well, still, that doesn't answer the question. Does he have a synth piece in his pocket, or was it like in his head? Was that the synth? I don't know. So I had to look it up on the internet, and no one knows. They're all like, I don't know. Here's what I think, and I was like, what the fuck? You could have made that more rewarding. Like, after playing Witcher 3 and then playing that doesn't have a cool ending. It doesn't feel worth it.
Yeah, Witcher 3 was good at making you feel like you didn't waste your time on a side quest. Like, it would come up later. You'd meet somebody that you helped out, like, 70 hours ago in a different city, and they're like, hey, it's the Witcher who saved me from the hobgoblins. And you're like, yeah, that's me. I remember that guy.
Yeah. Exactly. And in this, it's Bethesda does this thing where you stumble upon world things a lot, which is cool. But I can't tell if that's affecting the way they write it. Maybe they just get lazy because they're like, oh, they may never even run into this. But it's just not like you see a cool thing, you're like, oh, that's a cool thing that people do. Oh, that was it. Oh, okay, you really didn't flesh that out. Oh, okay, well, that seems like a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and again, there's a opportunity cost with these games because a game like Fallout 4 is so vast. Like I'm playing a game like that right now that's just a really vast game. You have to almost be twice as good as a normal game to get my attention for that long.
Mm-hmm.
Because like Rise of the Tomb Raider, I just finished it, but I knew I was going to finish it in 30 or 40 hours, so it wasn't a huge thing. You know, there's so many games coming out. Fire Emblem, there's 2 Fire Emblem games coming out in about a week. No, in 4 days. In 4 days, there are 2 Fire Emblem games coming out that are vastly different from each other. That means I've got a good 60 or 70 hours of Fire Emblem ahead of me this month. And to try and shove a 300-hour open world game in my face, you have to really make it worth playing. And I just never felt like the Fallout franchise was going to be a series that makes me really feel justified in putting off all these other games for 70 hours.
Yeah. Speaking of games that really haven't delivered, another one. First of all, I agree with you on The Division. I'm trying to not look into it too much. I'm actually interested in it, but holy shit, right now I've got a lot on my gaming plate, and I want to not see things about it that will ruin that experience. Like I didn't watch any Deadpool trailers past the first one. I watched the first little teaser, and if I'm sold on it, then I just don't watch any more of it. So same thing here. I saw Division, and I was like, that looks pretty cool, and then I was like, don't want to see any more. So I'm gonna wait till I get a chance to make the buy decision or not.
Did you see Deadpool?
No, not yet. I want to watch it. We were thinking about watching it tomorrow, but I'm going to or today. But I'm going to a political rally. First of my entire life ever.
Young activist.
Yeah, right. I always hated politics. But anyway, yeah, this one, Resident Evil 7 will be announced this year. Now, is there anything weird about that to you?
I didn't know they were up to 7.
Wait, didn't you buy 6? Didn't you play 6?
Was 6 the one with it was like slightly 2-player?
That was 5.
Yeah, I don't know. I know 4 was the one on the Wii that people liked.
I have. Oh, you played Resident Evil Revelations. Was that what you played?
Yeah, I played the one on the 3DS. I think it's some Revelations or something. I didn't finish it.
I don't know how this series is still going. I was really shocked. I thought Resident Evil 6 would be the nail in the coffin. It got fucking shit on in reviews. But did you know this? This is the part that's really tragic to me. It is their most sold Resident Evil at this point. It broke its own records. Resident Evil 6.
Wow, really?
The shittiest Resident Evil I've ever played. Well, no, there was Raccoon City, Operation Raccoon City or whatever. It's horrible. Then there was the Revelations. I got Revelations 2 for free as a part of a package deal for some Humble Bundle thing. It's installed. I've never even clicked on it. Not even once. Double clicking is what it requires. I haven't even single clicked on it.
You weren't even half interested.
Yeah. So the Resident Evil 6, apparently they got a new invigoration and they were like, well, let's make some more.
Okay.
They need some healthy criticism. They need some. They're George Lucasing right now, you know.
Yeah, that's a franchise that's been resting on its laurels since the 90s, and you really can't do that for 20 years.
So hopefully Resident Evil 7 does that, but I have my doubts. I imagine it's going to be more, oh my god, Wesker Matrix with something Claire Redfield or Chris Redfield.
Kung Fu virus. What's that? It turns you into Kung Fu. All right. Sounds good.
You know what? I'm sold. I mean, there was like I don't know.
A virus that turns people into zombies, just leave it there. You don't need to make more plot than that. That's enough. That's enough plot. That's more plot than we got in The Walking Dead. The Walking Dead is something makes people zombies. So you took it one step further, and that's where you should stop.
And how do you fuck this up? Like Resident Evil 5 took place in Africa, and it was Las Plagas. Was it Africa? I think it was Africa, not South America. But you know, it was some country where.
No, it was like Portugal or something, wasn't it? It was like some kind of southern, like Mediterranean kind of place. I don't.
Maybe 5. Okay. Anyway, no, it was. I remember it got a lot of criticism because people thought it was being racist because the people you're shooting for the first time the entire time of all franchises were the indigenous people were black, and so people thought that because of that was racist. And I was like, I think that's actually a good ratio if it's, you know, 4 Resident Evils or more, if you count the other ones like Code Veronica and stuff, then are you shooting white people the first time ever? It just happens to be in a continent where people have more pigments in their skin. I don't think that they're racist.
Oh yeah, it was in the African country of Kijuju, which
Okay.
I'm pretty sure they made up.
Pretty sure they did. But the point is I don't understand how you fucked that up. When if you're writing that story, there's so much cool shit you can do. You can be like, okay, so the place was kind of impoverished. It reminded me of like the South America, the kind of the ghettos they have there, where you've got like real shantytown stuff. People are living on very primitive resources and things, and so a lot of those people are superstitious. And so you could have played like a whole thing into that where they like made a cult around it, but they did a cult type thing, but it was just like, oh, because places we don't understand. It wasn't like because of the plague. I don't know. There's just so much you could have explored there. You could have been like, okay, so you've got these leaders who are now using the virus, and they don't understand it, or they're trying to ingest it maybe to get stronger. There's so many things you could do of like people who aren't, because in that place they weren't scientifically literate, so it could have been like, okay, well then maybe because they aren't.
Yeah, they had this whole thing where like a religious organization like was worshiping it, and all kinds of different cool takes on it.
They could have done that, yeah, but they really didn't flesh any of that out. It was like this weird. It always goes in a weird supernatural crap of like, oh, and then the super zombie man, but Wesker slicing and dicing. It's just, I don't know. I've never been satisfied with how Resident Evil ended. Ever.
This is the we're gonna shit on beloved franchises episode. If you guys were wondering what the theme was,
you know what else sucks? Super Mario.
Oh my god! Like, okay, if you're a plumber, what's with the turtles? Like, why are turtles such a huge issue? That's a way bigger problem than I think most plumbers have with turtles.
Yeah. But anyway, so yeah, that's being released. And lastly, the last thing is, the last 2 things. 1, good news. 1, bad news. Let's start with the bad news since we're not shitting on things. Konami is pretty much done, dude.
Really?
Yeah, since Kojima left in just a few months ago, or maybe last month. Apparently they're done with the console market. Now they're going into mobile games. So isn't phones and things. Doesn't that seem weird? This is the people who made like Castlevania, Frogger, Contra.
Yeah, they're a household name in gaming.
Yeah, they said their last game they're going to make, let me see, it was their soccer franchise is going to be the last one they make, Pro Evolution Soccer.
Wow, going out of a bang.
Yeah, I know, right? But Castlevania, what the hell, dude? That's one of my favorite series.
Yeah, well, I mean, they've kind of been mismanaged a lot. Like the way they've treated the whole Metal Gear Solid fiasco and Kojima, and yeah, I guess it's not surprising. But a moment of silence for they were a once great video game company.
Dude, up, down, down, left, right, BA, select, start. That's Konami.
Yeah. Dance Dance Revolution, like that's
yeah.
So many things that are just classic gaming things.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I hope somebody picks up that Castlevania franchise. That's one of my favorites. But in good news, this quick turnaround because we've been shitting too much. Mother 3 is going to get its official English release this year. So,
hey, finally.
So that's the sequel to Earthbound, which was Mother 2, right?
Yeah, Mother. Yeah, so Mother was on the NES. Then Earthbound was Mother 2, and then Mother 3 used to be you'd have to either find a fan translation online or something because Nintendo was really reticent. How do you say that word?
Reticent.
Yeah, they were very reticent about bringing it to America because it's super weird. It's a really weird game, and this is coming from someone who played Earthbound and was like, "Yeah, that's the right amount of weird." Mother 3 is like Mother 3 takes that amount of weird up and turns it up to 1100, not just 11. It's super weird. It's the weirdest game. So people are like, oh, why doesn't America take a chance, or why doesn't Nintendo take a chance on America? We love their games. I'm like, yeah, we love Mario and Zelda. I don't know if we might be biting off more than we can chew here. It's a really weird game. Like you have to really love that Earthbound. Really love it to want to play Mother 3 because it's so weird.
Yeah, everything falls on a spectrum, right? And Japan goes from Attack on Titan, which is pretty Western approachable, right? Like it's these huge bad guys, and then these people come up and kill it, and it's fucking awesome. All the way up to, Tentacleborn. So you kind of gotta. Where does Mother 3 fall? Let's just not say we accept all things because we don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, and there's these little. I just saw this yesterday because I was looking for a new mouse pad. There's little mouse pads that have like anime girls, and their boobs are the wrist rest. And I was like, oh my god! And of course, I was like, where's this shit from? Please don't tell me. From Japan. Yeah. Okay.
Because they care about carpal tunnel, Jeremiah.
Yeah, and little schoolgirls. That's just because they have the huge boobs for the wrist. I don't know. It was absurd.
Yeah, it's weird. I played Mother 3. It's fun. I enjoyed it, but it's so weird. It's not going to be for everyone. That's not a game I'm going to recommend to people because it's weird.
Yeah. I imagine there's a niche market, kind of like with Undertale, where it did pretty well, but it's not like a blockbuster.
Yeah, it's like, Undertale is probably the closest sort of cult classic we've had in recent years to be similar to Earthbound. But, I mean, check it out. If you liked Undertale and you liked Earthbound, when Mother 3 comes out, just try it, because I do feel like we need to. People have been complaining that this game is never going to come to America, so I feel like if we don't buy it, Nintendo's going to be like, see, you guys don't like RPGs, I guess. And we're like, no, we do. We just don't like really weird ones. Like, cancel all the Fire Emblems. It's over.
We're done with America. No, we're the cash cows, bro.
It's bizarre. It's a bizarre game. Like, you're a cowboy, one of the characters is, and then one of the characters is like a monkey. And I'm not making this up. It's not Curious George the RPG, but that's two of the characters. There's like an old man character. I don't know. It's just weird. I can't even describe how. Like, Chrono Trigger had a weird cast of characters, and they were the right level of weird.
So did Final Fantasy VII. I mean, Cait Sith, Red 13.
Yeah.
Those are fucking weird, man. Like, the Cait Sith one creeped me the fuck out when I was a kid. Yeah. I was not exposed to anything in Japan, and I was like, why is there a cat on top of a huge doll? I was like, is that doll living? And he's like, no one knows. No one knows, Jeremiah. And I was like, oh.
And
but
this is a talking red lion thing. We don't know why. Nobody knows why.
And people were trying to sell me on how cool it was. I was like, I don't know. And they're like, no, it's super cool. Look, he's got 13 in his arm. And I'm like, but it's a weird talking lion thing.
Why is that? And nobody can tell you. Nobody can tell you. Nobody knows the story of that game. They just remember liking it. That's my theory on Final Fantasy VII's popularity.
While we're shitting on stuff, it's fucking weird and overrated. Great game, but you got to admit, it's like people who don't think that who go too ham on Halo. I'm like, it's fun. It's a fun game. Is it awesome? No. Is it groundbreaking? Absolutely not. But yeah, it's a fun game. It's a fun, scale of 1 to 10. It's a 6. Look at me, I'm playing.
It's all right. So yeah, Mother 3. Check it out if you want to have some weird experiences in a game.
You could stop at the weird experiences. I was like, cool. I do want some of those. But cool. Yeah. Well, then that wraps up this section, and let's get on to our robust section, the gaming reviews. All right, this is the news and review. No, news we already did. Review section. Where we're going to talk about the games we've been playing and talk about what we think about them.
Indeed. And for me, I have 2 games I've been really going ham on this past few weeks.
Nice.
And I know you've been playing at least one game pretty hardcore.
Yeah, I've played others, but yeah, definitely one.
So I'll start us off with Rise of the Tomb Raider. So this is a game that came out on the Xbox in 2015, and PC just got it this month, February. And I'm really enjoying it. Or I did enjoy it. I 100%ed it, which is rare. We talked about this in the last section. Just with so many games out, the games really have to be worth your time. And this is a game that I felt like was worth just exploring every nook and cranny in.
Really?
Yeah, so the first Rise of the Tomb Raider was very much just like innocent young grad student on a island fighting for her life and sort of getting beat up along the way.
Yeah.
This one's more about her becoming a Tomb Raider, so I don't know. forgive me, Anita Sarkeesian, but I'm going to sing its praises for a minute. I don't know what her take on this game is, but she, for example, you're going to find one of the mechanics in the game is becoming a linguist. So you increase your Mongolian, your ancient Greek, your Russian, because you're studying these artifacts, and as you're studying them, you're getting better at translation.
Mhm.
And so one of my very first accomplishments was maxing out my language skills in Mongolian. And I was like, oh man, that's cool. She's like an academic, even though she's she's Dr. Jones, that kind of thing where you're a professor, but also an adventurer.
Mhm.
And I think what I like about this game, because the closest kind of style to it is Uncharted, another game I'm playing on the PS4. The Nathan Drake character.
Yeah.
And I think what makes me like this game better is Nathan Drake kind of takes the action movie up to 11, where you just never feel that worried for him. He gets punched and beat, but he's always super cocky, and he's gonna win, and he's gonna be like cracking jokes the whole time. So I never feel like he's in much danger. It's like watching Brendan Fraser in any one of his movies, where you're like, yeah, you're kind of a bumbling hero, but you're gonna be just fine.
Right.
But with Lara Croft in these new games, like, she feels like she's scared, and it's not like a female thing. It's just she feels like anybody would feel if you were being gunned at by a bunch of people. Like, if a lot of people were shooting at you and you were one person, like, she's just always like breathing heavily, running, kind of does like a stumble run. Like, the animation is so natural. Like, it really feels the way a hero who's not invincible is supposed to feel in a fight. So she's panicking. She's pulling off some great shots. She's doing some, like, she's extremely competent, right? Like, she's not like a bumbling idiot, but she's also not overly competent, like a Bayonetta kind of character. She's on that line where she's just competent enough to feel like a human could be this way, but still feels like she's in over her head.
Right. So less of like an amazing Spider-Man and more of an ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah, like she's very resourceful, right? Like, she'll figure stuff out, and it's cool when you go into a tomb. Like, all these tombs have little puzzles, and you're looking around, and she's like, "Huh, maybe I can do something with that." And you can kind of hear her thought process going through it, so you really feel united with her. Like, let me just first of all, the graphics on this game are so good. This is the first game that was built for the next generation consoles, and you can really see them pushing the limits. Like, my PC, pretty solid gaming PC, it pushed it to its limits. I had to turn it down to high instead of very high on the graphics settings, just to make it run smoothly. So
Wow.
it's a really pretty game. But so you're on a mountain, the very beginning. You're climbing a mountain. You feel like, oh, dude, I'm climbing Mount Everest. This is great. And there's snow coming down. You can see your footsteps. You're in a blizzard, and then there's this avalanche, and quick time events, trying to survive that. And then the next part of the game slows it down, and now I'm trying not to freeze to death, and I'm trying to kill a bear, and I'm putting poison mushrooms on these arrows I've made so I can take this bear down with no weapons but this makeshift bow and arrow. So there's just a lot of like man versus wild, or woman versus wild in this case.
Cool.
But there's also a DLC mode where they just expand on that. They made it into a roguelike where it's just this unforgiving, no minimap. You're exploring in the wilderness, and you have to get to fires or you're going to die. So it's very much like a slow kind of expanding exploration game where you expand your base camp, then you go out and you hunt, and you come back, and you go out and you hunt further, and you come back, and you're finding relics in the snow as you're going. So they really focus on that kind of survival aspect, if that's what you like. But yeah, the story's pretty cool. It's kind of you're trying to track down the secret to immortality, this sort of Ponce de Leon, like Fountain of Youth / Holy Grail / all these cultures have these myths about immortality, and then you've kind of honed in on what could be the thing, like they call it the divine source. And so I don't know. She feels like she's developed as a character. She's more confident than she was in the first game, but not cocky, and just very driven. She's just like a driven protagonist that you can relate to and just feel like you're going on this adventure with her. So, yeah, I really enjoyed it. I enjoy the stealth. I enjoy the crafting. I enjoy improving my weapons incrementally, like you did in the first game. and bow and arrow. Like they've improved the headshots with the bow and arrow mechanics. So you can put skill points into it and just shoot like 3 arrows at once and get 3 people in the head. So you feel like an archery badass at the end of it once you've leveled up a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not boring. It's pretty challenging. Beautiful game. If you like the first one, it's more of that. So I definitely recommend to anyone who enjoyed the Tomb Raider reboot.
Nice. I'm gonna pirate it right away then.
Good. Fuck 'em. Fuck you, Squaresoft.
The only thing holding me back from buying that game is just time. I was scrolling through my Steam library earlier, and I was like, my God, there's so many games in here that I really want to get through.
It's got really good voice acting, and like the hair, like her hair blowing with like the wind, and like you can see puffs of mist coming out of her mouth because of how chill everything is, and it's just really lots of tiny effects that make the game just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play Here's the Storm too.
Dude, that game's awesome. But I haven't finished Life is Strange. I haven't played. There's Metro Last Light. I really like Metro, the first one. I want to get through.
Yeah, you gotta finish Life is Strange.
I know, right? And then I gotta finish. I don't have to finish. I would like to finish. I would like to play Darkest Dungeon, which is a game that's I like H.P. Lovecraft, and it's unabashedly that. I still never played Broforce, which is something I wanted to play for a little bit. Just flirt around with, just have fun with, and then a summer fling with Broforce.
Well, JT and I have that game, so we should do a 3-player.
Yeah, Lost Planet 3, Lost Planet 2, I loved. I played a lot of time on that. That was fun. It's like this tropical thing you go around, and the whole idea of it is you got to collect heat sources from these animals, and they get stronger and stronger. You can play with a group of people. With Lost Planet 2, you could group up with 3 other people, and you go on these like little missions. And there'd be like different monsters you're getting, and you're all collecting this, this heat stuff that keeps you going. But then you get like these monster ones that kind of come up, these massive, kind of bosses, and everybody's got to kind of work not together, but it's not really like that. But everyone has to be pretty decent to take it down. It's just, and it's fun. It's one of these games that I've always kind of liked, where it's this thing's moving around, and you got to shoot it in that specific spots. You see the little hot spots, and you got to be able to hit them with like different kinds of weapons, and it's real opportunistic, and it's fun like that. And then on Lost Planet 2, you would get eaten, and then you get swallowed. And if you do get eaten though, like you don't have to, but if you do, you're sliding down its stomach, and if you shoot these specific parts of it, you can get thrown back up and stuff like that. So it's fun. It's like you don't get just taken out of the battle. You have your own little mini game to get back in, and it was just really well done. Lost Planet 2, I loved it. So Lost Planet 3, I want to play that. Man, I still have so much. Sniper Elite, I got that game because people rave about it. It's a cult classic.
I don't know. I think one of the things that made me kind of fall in love with this reboot Tomb Raider franchise is like she's a physical hero, but they really emphasize the intellectual hero. Like she's like a archaeological Sherlock Holmes, where she'll just notice things and be like, oh, this and this must be for that. And whenever you find an artifact, like she's just pulling up this PhD level knowledge of like, oh yes, this looks like it came from this region, and it's probably this old, and they probably used it for this. And then, oh look, there's a hidden thing here. Oh, this probably fell off of an arrowhead or something. Like she's just knows so much, and it's very, I don't know, I find it more attractive in a protagonist, just that level of intellectual competency. This idea of like language systems, and she's not just a survivor, but she's also like an explorer of ancient secrets, and she's trying to push the boundaries of human achievement, and there's like this curiosity pushing her as she looks for like the next greatest discovery and the next greatest climb every mountain sort of human, I don't know, it's just a human spirit, right? Like we just want to find something new that's not out there. It's our glorified rat in the maze instinct.
Yeah, it gives us a kind of a transcendence beyond death that way.
Yeah,
a lot of older people like to get that. They start getting obsessed with genealogies or finding a way to pass on their legacy. It's strange.
Yeah. It's just like we don't go to the moon because it's easy. We go because it's there.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to get to it. I've also got Talos Principle, Undertale. I'm still playing XCOM 2, which is amazing. But yeah, it sounds like a different flavor of game that would be really fun.
Yeah, and it's not, like I said, it's not a long game. I beat it in 2 weeks, and I 100%ed it. So if you just took a week, you could probably get through, because you're not as compulsive about finding all the relics and artifacts and stuff as I am.
Yeah, this transitioned into what I've been playing, which is, first, Here's the Storm, who cares, right? But I'm in that tournament, so I've got to keep at least decent in that game. So I play a bit of that, especially with my teammates. And then Overwatch is back on beta, by the way, which is still really fun. That's been fun. Yeah, like I definitely found my favorite characters on there, and like I like playing this McCree guy, which is he's basically like what's that guy's name? Clint Eastwood. So you're the cyber cowboy, you know, which is like a hilarious blend of two things. It's been done before, and I always thought it was pretty funny. But the Cowboy Bebop's a little bit of that kind of this futuristic.
Yeah. See you next time, Space Cowboy.
Yeah, or Firefly, Captain Mel. He's got a little bit of that cowboy attitude, but he's definitely, you know, they're definitely not a cyborg, but definitely in the future, sci-fi idea. So, yeah, little anachronism, but it's fun. Have a good time. And yeah, my Heroes tournament is going pretty good. We're going okay, but our last 2 games we just didn't practice and we played like shit. So we've got another game tomorrow, and hopefully we'll win. But yeah, but what else have I been playing? XCOM 2. The game's really fun. I just love it. If you love the first one, this one's way better. It's got all the same things but more. So like now you can customize your weapons, you can customize your people to a greater degree. You can there's a lot. It's a lot more desperate rather than being this like defensive aliens. Now it's like, oh, the aliens have come and they won. They took over, and now you're just this fringe group. So it's less Independence Day and more Star Wars. You know, so you're this like ragtag group that's like hiding in the shadows and trying to strike where you can, rather than this, you know, we are America, not America, we're the world.
We will not go quietly into the night. Yeah,
and then you defend, which they're both cool narratives, but this one, it's a fresh new take on it, so it's fun. You're this resistance that's kind of running around and
more like an underdog even.
Yeah, it's more desperate this way, so it's fun. Yeah, XCOM 2. A lot of fun. Make all your friends, and then, you know, they get a fight next to you, and sometimes you get blown the fuck away. It's fine.
How are we doing? How's you and I got left behind at one point, so I'm a little worried about command.
No, our team is awesome. Like, we're the alpha team, obviously. So, like, yeah, in the Army, you've got different teams, different fire teams, different squads that are, you know, kind of your. So let's say first squad has kind of your top maybe people who are very physically fit and very mobile, and then like your second squad. And it depends on how command wants to split it up, but sometimes they could do something like this. And then in different alpha or fire teams, you've got your fire team alpha leader and your fire team Bravo leader. So I took a lot of that idea. So our alpha team's kind of our premier team. They're the in the Army, they call them quick reaction force, which is the people who are like Johnny on the spot, as they say in the Army.
Yeah.
Which means like
in gamer terms, they're your high level characters.
Your high-level characters that are always ready to go, right? Just in case something huge comes up. So you use your Bravo team and your Charlie team for like the mop-up missions where you're like, "What's this? Oh, right. Save some civilians."
Because you don't want your Alpha team to be in the infirmary when a big mission hits.
Yeah. So whenever they hit, I'm like, I always get excited because it's like global event, and then I'm like, what? And this game makes it so desperate. You know, it's like womp womp, and it's like goes to your situation room, and your commander's like, "Commander," or your second in command's like, "Commander, they're trying to, you know, destroy this village that we just got," you know, and it shows these people. They're like, hey, we just joined the resistance and they found out about us. And you're like, we can't let them die. And, you know, this will send a message to them and to our future supporters. We must rescue them. And I'm like, and then, you know, there's like a big red button, and I'm like, move the little plastic piece, slam. It's Alpha Team, bitch. And it's just so heroic because the music, the score in this game is disgusting. It's amazing, disgusting in a good way. So it's just so heroic. So even as you're like outfitting your people, you're just like, you know, it's like da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, you know, it's like it's just playing like crazy, and you're just outfitting them, and like, oh man, you can customize so much. So I've got your guys like a sniper with like a Spider-Man suit. So you got this little grappling hook. It doesn't use, so just like in D&D, you've got to move. You can double move, you can single move and take an action, or and grappling would be considered a minor action or a free action. So you actually can walk to the extent, so like let's say something's far away, you can run as much as you can run in one turn, shoot your grappling hook for free, and then still be able to shoot someone. So it's a super mobile sniper. So it's really fun. And yeah, and then my guys, you know, of course, the shotgun guy, the mobile running around guy, like I play in D&D, the mobile warrior,
running around with a shotgun and a sword.
Yeah, the cleanup crew, and the guy who tries to be everywhere at once and make sure everyone's all right. But oh man, it's fun. And so when Alpha Team goes, it's always like I'm always excited. It's but we're good. But anyway, yeah, very fun game. It develops its own narratives, which is fun, and the main storyline is awesome. I mean, I think it's cool. Yeah, really enjoying myself on that one.
Yeah, I remember the XCOM, the game I played. was one of the fun things about for me was getting to prioritize what I want people to study. Like, okay, dissect this. Oh, I want to find out how those magnet things work. Like, let's research the magnetic pulse rifle. And so just kind of having a lot of layers of tactical decisions or strategic decisions, right? Like bigger picture stuff, like which am I going to do next? Which tree am I going to go down? Like which building am I going to add to my command center?
Dude, this adds way more of that. So like now the research takes a little longer. So you're like, well, shit, I need to get missions where I get scientists who speed that up. So you're like, cool, I'm going to do that. But then as you go start doing that, it takes, you land somewhere and you start scanning the region to try to find the area with the scientists on it. But then it's like, oh, wait, something else popped up over here and it's got an engineer. And well, engineers make your weapons and your armor faster. And you do need those because you're getting shot up pretty bad. And every time someone gets shot up, they land up in the infirmary. So if Alpha Team goes down because they didn't have enough armor, then what happens in the next global event? Bravo Team goes in and they're going to have a hard time. Someone might die. So I'm like, I guess I'm going to prioritize that. So you go over there because engineers also can clear out your junk and make your ship better. And they can build facilities and get you towards better tech like psionics and stuff. And there's so much strategy that besides just tactics that there's a lot of times where I'm like, fuck, man, I'm just going to do this. So, but it's fun. There's a lot of like meaningful decision making between missions. In fact, most of my time is spent in the strategy. I'm clicking around and deciding build orders and research orders, and then you go and try to clear out these debris and figure out what facility you're going to buy next. And then you're like, well, now I need more money, but I also need more intel.
Yeah, and from the feedback I've heard from you guys, like the classes are more fun to play this time. Like in the first one, there were like 3 classes that were just really good, and then there were some where you're just like, I guess I got to bring a heavy. Heavies are important, I suppose, but you're never really sure. You're like, I don't know why they're here, except that I feel like I should have one. But in this one, from what JT was saying, is like each class feels awesome. Like you just feel like a hero no matter what class you are.
Yeah, they upgraded the shit out of all the classes, so they're all more fun and better. But some of them got super buffed, and some got kind of buffed. So like now snipers are better, if you can imagine. But heavies got really good, or at least they got isolated. Now they're more about making targets vulnerable. Everybody dies behind cover, so like they destroy cover. They get shred
armor.
They get shred armor. And first you're like, yeah, but do I really want to spend a whole turn shredding someone's armor? So now they get something called chain shot, which you shred one and you turn to the next guy and shred him too.
Nice.
And you got to be in position to do that. So it's a lot of tactics, like figuring out how to make everyone correct. But it's fun, and the snipers get something called Cone of Death or something like that. So I put like Tim, who's our heavy, I put him up there, and like I shredded one guy, shredded the next, and your guy just sits up there and says, anyone who moves in here, I get a free shot on with my sniper rifle. So then after I shredded them all and destroyed the armor in front of them, they were like, oh shit, so they have to dive for cover. And as soon as they moved, you were like dead and just shot them all. And I was like, this is so fun. So if you can set up those plays and play off each other's synergies, it's fun.
Yeah, that's definitely a game I'm looking forward to playing.
It's a great game. I love it. I'm definitely going to play it again, on the side for some time. It's going to be my back burner game after I finish it. Because replayability is huge in this. It's randomly generated, but beyond that, there's so many different ways to approach it. Like it's almost like Rome Total War, where you're like, do I want to go more diplomacy? Do I want to go more military? And kind of like let my science fall down. Do I want to go science and be passive and then, crush it in the end game? There's just a lot to do. And you've got a ticking time clock the whole time. That's like they're working on this thing called Avatar Project, which I have no idea what it is, but they're like, it says from the very beginning, it's like, we don't know what that is, but pretty sure we don't want them to complete it. So,
let's stop it.
Yeah, so you kind of have to jump on these things, and you have to manage your between time, and it's crazy.
Yeah, like I feel like in the first XCOM, one of my complaints was everything went to shit at some point, so there was that ticking time bomb because like things just got worse and worse. But if you could hold out past that point, you could kind of prolong the game forever and just build up as much as you wanted, because you could kind of take care of the fires as they were coming and just keep leveling up and keep training your guys and keep getting new research. So I never felt like pressed to finish the game. Mm-hmm. I eventually did, but it was like 7 years into the invasion. It was crazy. Yeah. Just like, I guess we're gonna go stop that mothership now. Everyone's awesome.
Yeah, there wasn't much desperation.
Yeah.
It was more survival, and once you got past that critical mass, it was like, okay, well, I can survive indefinitely now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. This one's way more desperate. I haven't gotten to the end game, so I'm not sure, but there's this ticking time bomb the whole time where I'm like, it really makes you think like, oh my God, what do I want to do my next 6 days? Like you really have to think it out. So
nice.
Anyway, that's into that.
So the other game I've been playing a lot this past few weeks, Xenoblade Chronicles, still on that. I'm 92 hours into the game, and I'm level 62. And from what I'm reading online, you have to be around level 77 to beat the game. So I'm closing in probably another 20 hours before I finish this game. It's a game I play when I'm watching something on Netflix. So I just watched Love, that new series on Netflix with Jillian Jacobs from Community. And while that's on, I'm running around on this game and I'm just gathering stuff and doing side quests because it's a vast game. Everywhere you look, you can see as far as you can go. Like you can go anything you can see, you can probably go there at some point. So there's just a sense of scale to it that's hard to capture on a 3DS. Like on the Wii it was probably more impressive because you got that big TV screen, but I'm just like, oh man, this game is so big. So I'm just running around. The story is actually really good. It's interesting story, and the voice acting is really good. Everyone's got like this all the voice actors, they made this decision to make them British or Australian, so they're just all like, all right, Shulk, good work, and they're just all speaking with their British accents, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of neat. But yeah, still enjoying it. Probably going to spend at least 110 hours beating this game. And then I'm moving on to Xenoblade Chronicles X for the Wii U, which is just gorgeous and bigger. So again, 2 very big time commitments on top of all the other games out. But I can see what the hype is about. I can see why people got excited when he showed up on Smash Brothers. So I was like, oh, I don't know. Who's this Shulk character? Who cares? But definitely worth checking out if you can somehow track down a copy on the Wii or get the new 3DS that can play it.
Yeah, I probably won't be playing that. I'll just play that vicariously through you. I gotta get some of these other games in and get those experiences. But yeah, other games I've been playing, just the Wii U games with my kids. That's pretty fun. The Mario Wii or the Mario Wii U, yeah, versus the Mario 3DS.
Mario Brothers Wii U,
things like that. Yeah, we played some Mario Maker. It's funny. There is something funny about playing Mario Maker with people. So what they were doing, the kids, when I went and visited over there, watching the different people and what kind of games and levels they design, I wonder if that tells you something about the people. Because I made one, and it was like a classic Mario game, and try to make it interesting and fun, but like there's a couple challenging spots. And I was like, all right, here's mine. Hope this is fun for you guys. And they played it, and they beat it eventually. And I was like, yay, we did it. But then one of the kids was like, okay, I'm done with mine. Who wants to play it? I was like, all right. And I played it, and it's meant to be impossible. And like you just die. You have to die 600 times before you figure out how to beat it.
Uh-huh.
So like it was a bunch of thwomps, with like a bullet bill that chases you, and then you're like, what the? So you just start running right away. But then you hit people and you die, and then you're like, what? And like you have to figure out all this. Then there's all these trapdoors that lead you to death traps, and I was like, what's the point of this? And they were like, oh, it's an impossible thing. I'm like, do you just like watching us suffer through your level? Mine was to like try to make give you some sense of mastery and fun, pleasure. It was just funny.
Did you follow that 4-stage construction we talked about in our Mario episode, where you introduce a concept in a safe environment and then in a more complex one and then challenge them at the end?
Yeah, mine did. And so that was my idea, was that, right? Make this good level that's fun to play. One of the kids did that like death trap, and then Elijah, who's my oldest son, he did like the super coin level where like all these different coins pop out. It's like a heaven thing. And I was just like, it makes me feel like you guys want different experiences for your friends.
Do you remember when you were kids and they had Game Genies?
Yeah,
that reminds me of when I was Elijah's age and I put the Game Genie in. I'm like, oh, what? You can fly, infinite flying, and just all these things. I put all these codes in, and it was fun to play with for like an hour, and then I was done with it because it wasn't. I learned at that young age that the challenge is what makes the game fun, not just getting infinite coins.
Right. Yep. And that's what made me the Death DM.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. Is that it? Yeah. Overwatch, XCOM 2. Yeah. And Here's the Storm. So pretty much what I've been playing.
Sounds good.
It's a good time. I got a lot on my back burner that I want to play though. Especially when I play that Undertale game. People are freaking out about that. So,
yeah, I definitely want to check that out too. The soundtrack is pretty good. I've been listening to just the YouTube channel of the Undertale soundtrack, and it's kind of like, it's just a well-composed soundtrack. It's kind of part indie music, part Earthbound kind of music, part just beautiful piano stuff.
I'll have to check that out. I've been listening to the Shovel Knight soundtrack occasionally. Awesome.
Yeah. Do you ever finish Shovel Knight?
I did not. I went to go play it again the other day, and then something got in the way. I don't remember what it was, but I played like a level on it. I didn't beat it, but I played most of it. I think I'm on the ice one now. That's the one I haven't.
Sorry.
I just haven't beaten it. I come back to it every once in a while, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is what this is about, and I start playing, and I get to near the end.
I beat it, and I unlocked the Plague Knight. Like, there's a extra game where you play as Plague Knight.
Yeah, I want to play that.
But I haven't gotten very far in the Plague Knight one, but I've beaten the main game.
Yeah. Maybe I'll get the Shovel Knight little amiibo, and then I can let someone help me beat it.
Yes. Sounds good.
Anyway, that's pretty much all I've been playing, man.
Cool. Should we move into our main section?
Let's do it.